Welcome back, challengers. It's your boy Darwin Darko, and I brought with me some dope beats for you to step to. Before we jump into all of that, remember to like and subscribe while you're here. Go ahead, get it out the way. Recommend the show to your friends. Hit up the comments. I always say I'm looking for whatever recommendations you might have, and I'm looking always to discover something new. Right? I love hearing new music and putting people on that may not be on the main wave that everybody uh, main channels that everybody might be aware of. So go ahead and take care of that business now. Couple what we got on the docket right for this one, we have Moruf with Melodic Hotep Luxury. We have Snail's House with Lumi. This is a throwback from 2023. Bryson Tiller, he's back. Solace and the Vices is the title of that project. Danny Brown dropped a new one called Stardust. Omari Hardwick and Anthony Hamilton have a spoken word project that's actually been nominated. So looking forward to dive into that one. I loved it. I enjoyed it, and we'll get into that in a sec. But couple quick honorable mentions, other entertainment stuff going on. Wicked One Wonderful Night. That showed. I'm a big fan of musicals. That it showed up on was it NBC or whatever Peacock is, but the soundtrack for it dropped, and I came across that, and it was dope. All of the songs from the musical, a couple new songs from there's going to be on part two because it was a two part um two-part movie, of course, based on the original stage play, hosted by Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande. They all looked amazing, all kinds of amazing wardrobe. They filmed this thing in L.A. in a theater in L.A. What was the name of this theater in L.A.? Who was it? The Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, right? And they had a 37-piece orchestra as part of that, so it was just like pretty much a concert style. And they just all of the songs, and so the soundtrack when you listen to it, the soundtrack just like on whatever app you used to listen to music. Um, they had the audience. It's kind of like any band playing like a live set, and you can hear the audience clapping all the time and stuff like that. It was amazing. And so I went and I watched some of it as well. After that, I didn't catch it live. I wish I would have caught it live. It would have been dope to be to witness it when it was first happening. That sort of live event. But Cynthia Erivo, the talent is she got more talent in her pinky than most people have in their entire bodies. This is crazy. Ariana Grande, her voice is immaculate. She's made for the stage. Yeah, I was introduced to her as a pop star. Was she in Disney? She might have been a Disney kid. I don't exactly remember, but she is made for the stage. And it's a perfect pairing. Those two singing together, their voices. Man, I wish they would drop an album, like a project, like legit duet album where like it's sort of maybe like a jazzy neo soulish slash um alternative sort of project. It would be dope if they like locked in and did that, and something away from the theme of the wicked thing. Although everything they do here on the Wicked show program is amazing. Definitely recommend checking out. It's streaming on Peacock. So grab your popcorn, grab your drinks, and prepare to sing along. Dope stuff. The other honorable mention is this show. Season two is out. Well, it's been out for a little bit. Vince Staples show, the Vince Staples show. It's on Netflix. Man, the season one was amazing. It was great. It's funny. It's like dark humor sort of thing. Season two, I just finished it myself. Recommend you checking it out. It is a little bit more serialized and focused on a single storyline around the death of his uncle, who is and they say at the beginning of the show, I mean, everything that happens is strictly fictional, and anything that seems like it reflects something in real life is purely coincidental, right? Is what they say. Man, but it's really OJ Simpson. The dude got the white Bronco in there. They call him James throughout the entire thing. Um, uh, which is his middle name, which is OJ's middle name. There's some portions that are like Get Out adjacent, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of humor in it that makes it's a comedy. It's a comedy. It's a dark comedy. So I appreciate the art, the way that it's presented. And Vince is another one of these dudes that's just like so multifaceted, multi-talented. Love his music, love his rap style and his introspection and his creativity on the mic. But this acting thing, and like it's not even like his acting is so superb. It's the acting is himself, and but just the way that he is like a character um that should be studied. It's worth studying, and it's just perfect for that role. It's perfect. He's got some great writers that write into his personality, and his delivery is great. His he has some action scenes in there and everything, and I love seeing that evolution. I don't want him to stray too far away from the music, but um, it's it's good to know that. Well, I don't know when they're going to get a next Vince Staples project, but it's good to know that he can do. And he recently dropped. I think he dropped something last year. It's good to know that he can do both things. You can shoot, you can was it walk and chew gum at the same time. So you love to see it. Go check out that show on Netflix, the Vince Staples Show, and again, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the other side. A quietly influential figure in underground soul and hip hop, has built his reputation through soulful samples, introspective lyrics about growth and wealth, and a confident, laid back delivery. No more for refined artistry than mainstream visibility. He's the kind of artist discerning listeners discover rather than stumble upon. And that's kind of how I came across Moruf. It was really the album cover that really drew me in. He is laying, it's so weird. He's like laying his head sideways on, I guess, what might be a table, but the contrast between the darkness and richness of his skin on this bright fabric, and the background is gold, and he's got these gold rings around his head. A very placid look on his face. It was kind of jarring, and it kind of grabbed my attention. So yeah, I judged it by I judged the book by its cover, and I was well rewarded by it. Melodic Hotep Luxury represents his first major independent release, and he's got growing momentum, and so it's the kind of thing that you love to see, but it's unfortunate that it doesn't have, so there's not a lot on here that is mainstream, that gets mainstream play. Not that it needs to be that way to get any kind of like to justify it, but I think I would love to see it be more prolific. You know, what I mean, I love to see it more people like, oh, bro, listen to this. This you're missing hip hop. You The hip hop is not in the top 40. We're not like. No, listen to this. This is some good stuff. This is what you're missing. And so hopefully I can do some work here. If you like and subscribe and you share it and I get these numbers up, I mean, we could get more people, put more people up on game. His recent social media presence shows that he's a man going through a transformation, and and this album acts sort of like a meditation. He's talking about financial freedom, his travels to Ghana and Jamaica where he gets to reflect, and it's all directly contributes to his presentation here on Melodic Hotep Luxury. It really positions the album as a statement and the centerpiece of his evolving vision for peace and for prosperity. Melodic delivers impeccable production, by the way. It has two core elements that make it such a you know cohesive, profound project that he puts together here. First of all, it's expertly produced. with chopped jazz and vocal solos and samples, um, creating timeless aesthetic, but it's marrying it with some futurism as well, creating just making it feel like it's timeless. It's moving the genre forward for sure. Hopefully other artists are this is the type of stuff that I hope other artists are listening to get them to be like, oh, you know what, here's some ideas that I can incorporate, not to necessarily copy or I mean, to buy his style or whatnot, but like there's some elements here that can, I really think he can help some folks elevate their game if they realize that they can allow some a little bit more creativity, especially when it comes to hip hop. And it's still pretty much authentic hip hop. It's not the new age, what they call that, alternative hip hop, the pop rap kind of stuff, which in and of itself still might be fine and has its own lane, but like keeping it rap, keeping it conscious, um, y- you know, the whole tip part about it to the side. It doesn't lean into a lot too much of that in the lyrics, but I know that can be a problematic word for a lot of people. So, grain of salt given. Um, one of the dope tracks that would could be a great barrier for entry is Peachy Cruiser. This one's featuring SZA. So she's a hit maker. I mean, she's gonna be featured on something. It's gonna do numbers. It's gonna be great, and it's gonna be well produced. And she's gonna have, the backing of her the producers on that to really highlight her feature. It's probably the most prominent song. It feels nostalgic. It feels dreamy. It's smooth. They're talking about, it's kind of like a conversation between lovers or ex-lovers of some sort, and talking about, hey, remember when we met, and we used to roll up in the back of your mom's PT Cruiser, or sometimes we might be chilling in your mom's PT Cruiser just by ourselves, what I mean, making out and stuff like that. Just remembering those old moments. The lyrics talk about these childhood memories, and it feels good. It feels authentic. It feels innocent yet um relatable, right? That you've been there, right? When you were just too young to be even making out and all that kind of stuff. It kind of feels a little bit dangerous in your mom's car, but like, you did what you had to do, right? And maybe you might have went a little bit a little bit extra at the time, but you made it out all right. Everybody Raps, another dope track. So this one comes up. Actually, this is back to back. So Everybody Rap features Mez and Mick Jenkins, and of course, Mick Jenkins is, he's gonna add the Bonafides, the rap Bonafides, whatever whenever he shows up. So I love to see certain features on projects because it shows it's kind of like who's fucking with this guy, you know what I mean, who think he's dope enough to like lend their voice to what he's got going on, or she, whoever the artist may be. And so I always love to see who is featured on the thing. So Mick Jenkins is like definitely adds the gravitas and depth to that, being on that track. Thematically, the song explores ideas of authenticity. It's basically talking about the rap game, right? It's a track about that, so it's commentary on what's going on in the rap game, and welcome it at a time like this when we are coming off the 50 years of hip hop, and we're coming from a lull of away from the Drake and Kendrick squabble, and we're still wondering like, okay, where's the state of hip hop? What is it looking like right now? All the old heads are coming around, dropping bangers. What's the future of hip hop look like? What does the next 50 years of hip hop look like? So this is a commentary on that, and I love people that are fanning the flame of, no, we need to keep this alive as an art form, and and really eschewing the commercialization, the hyper commercialization that some artists jump into. A lot of rappers these days, they don't see rap as an art; they see it as a job, and I stand on that. And they see it like, oh, this is something I can do. I know how to stay on beat. I can write some rhymes. I got a decent delivery. My background may be such, so whatever. I'm gonna do it. But I'm just trying to make a band. I'm not an artist, and so I love, and it's fine. Some of them make great music too. I bump their stuff, but artists like this talking about it and having a commentary on that. Let's keep that conversation going for sure, so we could put pressure on these niggas to actually make quality stuff and to make things that can be considered art, not just something that's so easily digestible that anybody who's a casual fan can just you know um, flippantly absorb and play without respecting the history and the craft. Off that high horse for a second. Black Boy Left is the closing track on this thing. And this is a standout. This is exactly what I'm talking about. How like doing something a little bit different, but keeping it within the genre. Jasmine Mans is the only voice that you hear on this track. It's a closing track. It's a minute and 48 seconds, and it's all spoken word. It deals with identity, race, loss, social commentary about the precarious nature of being a black boy in America. Again, the track of the title of the track is "Black Boy Left." As the closing track, it carries the thematic weight. It's a reflective. It is a sobering conclusion. Um, it's not sad necessarily. It's a warning about how precarious it is to be a black boy growing up in America, but it's still hopeful. It's still giving flowers, right? And it's a great way to for him to go, especially for like I said, with the match with the album cover to be unambiguously like we just saw a freaking what was his name? Ah, Young Thug. Young Thug dropped the project where he put whiteface, opposite of blackface, I guess, where he put whiteface on. And he's like, "Oh, you want to go big, go white." Like even his explanation was just the dumbest. And man, I was looking forward to hearing some new stuff from Young Thug, especially reflecting off of, especially after the backlash of all the stuff that was happening on social media while he was in prison and going through his trial and stuff. Maybe reflecting on how he maybe engages with social media or engages with his art and the people in his life, versus the public nature of their relationships and the private nature of their relationships, something like that. So he puts out this album that's like just like surface level stuff. He has a couple tracks that I was like, okay, yeah, just give me a whole album of this stuff. We like two or three tracks like that. But the dumbest thing is his album cover with the whitewash face. Talking, and then he explains to talk about if you want to go big, I want a big album. I want to do it big. This is my first album out of jail. So if you want to go big or white, he tried to explain it, and it sounds like the dumbest, most word garbage salad that anybody like. Man, if anybody needs a freaking PR team, it would be that guy. But then in contrast to what Moruf is doing here, it's his beautiful black skin, just like prominently displayed, unashamed.
Why don't you want to
It's
look
that
like
thing
what
like
you are?
what makes you
What
ashamed of
makes
being
you
black? You want
ashamed
to go
of
big or
being
white? Since
black?
when? You in
Tell me
rap?
something.
Since when? If you in rap, if you want to go big, you go black. That's what you do. If you in hip hop, like so, I don't know what that was about, but he needs a better explanation, and he needs to do that over. He needs to, and it's digital time now, so we're in the digital space now, so you can easily just like replace that album cover. 'Cause that joint was dumb. You just dumb. Whoever signed off on that just like totally missed the mark. But either way, Hotep Luxury captures the sound of success and sophistication, and serenity all at once. The album delivers confident, chilled out vibes. It's suited for maybe a curated lounge. Not it's not there's not club bangers on this thing. It ain't for that. It's for maybe a late night drive. And you're just the glowing skyscrapers and neon lights are passing by and stuff. It's maybe a cold, chilly night. You got the seat warmers on, and you just vibing and having your own like oasis in your whip. It feels upscale. It feels like what Rick Ross thematically calls Maybach music, right? Dope for that. The ambiance matters as much as the conversation that he's having on this. Maroof has crafted more than a collection of songs. He's delivering a complete mood and aesthetic in a world and a time that is relentlessly loud and fast paced. Give yourself a 32-minute break, right? It's only a 32-minute album. You have how many tracks on this thing? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, only 14 tracks. Another thing that I love is that it's not overdone. Actually, it's only 12 tracks. I think I was reading something. Only 12 tracks. It's not overdone. Uh, give yourself that little break, and it's an essential addition to your rotation. I want to revisit Snail's House's project from 2023, Lumi. Snail House, aka Ujiko, is a Japanese artist that is uh, you know that gave us this luminous album that serves as both sanctuary and celebration back in 2023. For nearly a decade, Ujiko has refined a signature sound, talking about hyper colorful future funk and kawaii bass, characterized by glitchy electronics, infectious dance rhythms, and melodies that evoke the brightest of anime themes. I would I'm shocked that he hasn't done. He might have. I don't know. He might have done been produced a the theme song for. Do you think about when you watch anime? Do you know that opening theme song for for these shows? Like it sounds like it's all this stuff. It's all instrumental, by the way. This project, it's down tempo instrumental stuff. The music achieves this rare balance of complexity and accessibility, feeling simultaneously intricate but just effortlessly joyful, right? A lot of if you're an 80s baby, you some of these sounds and the motifs that you hear from some of these songs sounds very familiar for some of the games that you might have played. Right now we have like real tracks that are like, from people's albums and stuff like that on the video games that we might play, if it's Madden or if it's even on some of these first player shooters or something like that. You'll hear real songs in some of these things that I think well, dope. This freaking Ghost of Yotai has a lo-fi setting that you can set on there. It's freaking amazing. So they're doing great things with video games now. But think about back in the day, back in the late '90s. The type of background music that you would hear in these side scroller games that you played. It sounds like this stuff is plucked straight out of that and into your ears, right, and into your headphones. After years of singles and EPs, Lumi came out in 2023. It was a cohesive major statement that delighted fans worldwide. Ujiko remains notably low profile, which is, of course, artists these days are all, they're heavy in social media. He's still keeping his low profile persona and lets the music speak for itself. In an era of constant digital oversharing, this approach feels quite refreshing. Lumi delivers that same unapologetic joy and sonic warmth, offering listeners an audio escape, really, from all the chaos that's going on, and it's all presented in this pastel hued package. Lumi stands out through its meticulous layering, where Ujiko constructs tracks with the precision of a master watchmaker. The production features sparkling arpeggios, the bass is knocking, there's multiple twinkling sound layers that interweave without ever becoming cluttered, creating a dense yet crystalline sonic landscape that feels rich, feels full. It's all combined with exceptionally wide mastering that keeps every element clear and distinct. Lumi achieves a pristine production where nothing gets lost in the mix. It's a production masterclass. And the clarity of that is that what translates out of all that is just joy. It's a fun album to listen to. It makes you feel good just listening to it. It's like beating a level in a game and they play that sound. You feel accomplished. You feel like you're the main character. Listen to a project like this and have it in your headset. The opening track is Snowy Morning. Now I'll Snowy Morning is a little bit more emotional, a little bit more the tone is a little bit turned down. It's a little bit more soft. It's a little bit heart tugging, the chords that he's got going on there, and the progressions, but it's warm. It's still a welcome intro to what happens next, right? It could be the opening scene or the opening level of a game, right? Where you lay out the stakes of why you're playing this game, and then you go on to Gemini, which is the second track on this thing, and then that's when the energy really sort of picks up. Snow Cloud is comes track number 4. It's called Interlude, but I don't know why, but this track is dope. It's playful, and the bass is just bumping on this thing, right? It's bouncy. The track carries this chilly feel, like you're playing like a game in it's sort of like a winter level, a snowy level, right? So it sort of feels like that thing. It gives me those sorts of vibes. Lumi is an album that's designed for escape, just like video games are, just like anime is. It's a sonic vacation where everything feels playful, feels colorful, um, all within rhythm, right? It works best on maybe 10, playing it loud, right? And some good headphones. Think of it being maybe a companion as you walk through the city, and you walking through the concrete jungle, and just like things are turning into animation, right? You've seen commercials like this perhaps, or you've seen like some animated shows like that, right? Where real life meets turns into animation. Ultimately, it's a triumph of positive vibes. The design is clear, and he knew the assignment and he nailed it. Snail's House has created a safe, joyful, and meticulously produced auditory space that serves as a reminder that music can offer pure, unapologetic, uncomplicated happiness. It's an essential listen for anyone seeking more light in their life, a little bit of a lift, especially in these overwhelming times. Bryson Tiller's latest classic, Solace and Devices. And I got to tell you right up off the jump, this project is something special. So let me recap real quick. Bryson Tiller burst onto the scene back in 2015 with Don't, and that track literally changed the game. He basically created his own lane with this trap soul sound. He basically remixed moody R&B vibes with hip hop beats, adding some soul to it, sprinkle of soul on that bit. Fast forward, now you got Penn Griffey dropping ambitious double albums like we just got with this joint here, Solace and Devices. Um, uh, Here's what's interesting about the rollout is that he first dropped the Vices back in October, so it's a double album. He dropped the first part back in August, and that one is more high energy, or it's rap heavy, and then he dropped Solace in October, which is more introspective and more R&B. Um, but then eventually it he released it as one cohesive project called Solace and Devices. Now the sequencing is suspicious. I think that it might have something to do with maybe gaming the algorithm. A lot of these artists are doing things like these little tricks they do now. I usually do not like long albums because a lot of these artists have been doing it for the sake of being long, so that they can get more spins, and their songs are always like a minute and a half, 2 minutes max. But this seems to be a intentional project, the way that Tiller put this together. Like, granted, none of these songs are longer than 3 minutes, so they're still pretty short. He's got one track that's 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Another one that's 3 minutes. Another, he's got a couple of songs that's over 3 minutes, and so these songs are still pretty short. They're doing a lot to like game the algorithm so they could get spins. But I think he still threw us a bone by making it thematically on point the way he did with like, the first part has these styles and these types of songs and the second part has these other kind of songs on it. So it's kind of like releasing back to back albums, which I appreciate. And then he puts it all together in one thing. And he stays on brand, he stays on the theme as he does. So I'll forgive it. But generally, some artists will give you like a 21 or 26 track album that's like, it's not cohesive. It's just a bunch of stuff that they slap together that they might have recorded at, you know, sometime within the past 2 years, and it makes no sense together. Um, and and they just feed you the slop and we just swallow it or whatever, right? So um I appreciate him at least having some kind of plan on this, and whether or not it also favors the algorithm, maybe just happen be a a lucky happenstance on that note. In terms of the production on this thing, um, it builds intricate soundscapes through carefully constructed layers, these hazy atmospheric synths that establish the mood, while crisp trap drums provide gritty contrast. Um, Tiller did some of the production on this thing himself. It they crafted these complex arrangements that transcend basic, you know, beat and vocal structures, creating immersive sonic environments that feel both spacious and grounded. The sample work on here um, flips old school R&B and soul in innovative ways that avoid mere nostalgia, pairing familiar warmth with forward thinking production techniques. I'm thinking of a track like Strife, not Strife, what's this one? Like 200 Bands, which has Plies and T Pain on there. Plies and T Pain. They could think of one last time you heard. Well, not just last time you heard these, because T Pain still be working and stuff. But like these are sounds that are like ubiquitous with the mid 2000s. These names that they were hits after hits that were just like these radio spins that they were getting. They were just a bunch of singles. You may not remember you know a full complete body of work from them, but they were on just the way SZA's name is in heavy rotation right now. Plies was on everything. T Pain was on everything. Featured on everything. Has his own projects, but also everybody wanted a T Pain feature. And so for him to like tap to those two guys, he's got Rick Ross on one of these projects, right? So there's a lot of like these elder statesmen, elder voices that are Bun B is on this joint, right? That are featured on this thing. So I love the way that he's able to add his new sound, and not that he's making a new sound, but like his curated new sound in terms of like the trap soul kind of thing. And shout out to his first album. Um, in in bringing in these other voices that lean more into that, but also still pushing the genre forward. So appreciate him in the craft there. One of the tracks that I definitely recommend checking out. The which track is this one? The opening track, Strife. This is the opener. It's more of a mission statement, if anything. It's moody, it's heavy, it's reflective atmospherically. It sets the temperature and lays out his internal conflict, building the emotional weight um, that the rest of the album rests on. And by rest of the album, I mean that part, right? Remember, it's a two-parter. So that part, right? Workaholic is also on that part of the project. On this one, Bryson Tiller is he's coming across pretty vulnerable on this particular track. Quietly, he sounds a little bit like he's exhausted. He's self-aware, but it's melodic and he's like very reflective. Um, it feels like you're just trying to unload into your diary maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're up, you can't sleep, whatever it is, and like um and it's the emotional core, I would say, probably for the Solace side of the double album. He says here, I was scared. What do you say? I was scared of going broke in 21/8. That was after all the money and the fame. Going back to how it was, the shift, the shit'll be a shame. Let me explain. I've been texting, calling. You know, you've been thinking, solving all night. I've been sinking, falling, down here deep and calling out, talking it back, taking it back to the year. Think you was like 21, candle blowing, big yacht charter, thinking I spent like 21, scared of the bank when they gonna take that from me. Still, I put up a front, scared of my thoughts, looking at my plaques like, damn, I guess I'm one and done. That's that. That's that. What? You're faking it till you make it, but then you make it, and then it's like, yo, am I doing too much? Right? Am I doing too much? And you realize, I got to keep up the pretense. I got to keep doing the stuff, but then I'm scared of the bank. He's like, I'm scared of the bank. I got to keep up doing these things. This is the image I portray. Very reflective. Letting us behind the curtain there. So I appreciate that. 200 bands I mentioned before. Plies T-Pain on this joint. It's a perfect collision of eras. Um, Plies is on this track, bringing the gritty, what I mean, a little bit more heavier hip hop rap kind of thing, while T Pain is bringing the nostalgia, the melodic undertone under it all. He actually does the hook on this thing. Bryson threads it all together with his modern finesse. It's a whole moment that happens on this project. The main takeaway is that this is the type of project that is more of a soundtrack that fits perfectly during if you're on one of these 1 a.m. missions. I don't know exactly what you're up to at 1 a.m. in the morning, but you put this song on and you put this project on, either the Solace side, pick carefully, or the Vice side. If you're up at 1 a.m., you need a soundtrack. Choose wisely. Danny Brown's Stardust marks one of this year's most electrifying releases, showcasing an artist who has built his career on fearless self expression through high energy rap and experimental sounds. This latest project represents a significant new chapter, with Brown channeling a transformed personal energy into his music. The album emerges from Brown's openly discussed journey towards wellness. I covered a lot of that when I talked about was it a couple years ago, last year? Maybe the album came out Quaranta in 2023. I don't know if I was on schedule when I covered that. Check the catalog while you're there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, so we could swim. I could swim up your timeline whenever I drop new stuff. But this is more stuff along that journey, and it talks about the decision he made to go sober, giving up alcohol and embracing greater clarity and peace rather than dimming his distinctive creative spark. This evolution has sharpened it. Stardust serves as a cosmic proof that Danny is truly in transformation mode, bringing his renewed self, his renewed energy, his renewed frame of mind, um, and sense of purpose directly into his music. And he delivered a brilliant body of work because of it. Getting into the sonic engine of this thing, because the production on Stardust is a character in and of itself. The album's sonic identity is shaped by legendary British producer Paul White, who creates a distinctive blend of British of not British but vintage, futuristic sounds. It's still warm, it's still soulful, but it's obscure, right? It meets crunchy digital drums in all to create this sort of beautiful chaos. Live instrumentation adds crucial texture. There's funky bass lines, psychedelic guitar riffs. Um, it sounds raw, The organic elements contrast perfectly with Danny Brown's sort of, I guess, like maybe staccatic, high pitch energy delivery, I would call it. It sets the album apart from um, anything else really in the hip hop space. There's not a lot of music in the hip hop space that sounds like Danny Brown when you listen to it. It is also carefully sequenced in its diversity, moving fluidly between aggressive notes and some head banging, um, smooth, maybe jazzy, introspective moments. This is a deliberate journey. All of this, it showcases the range, um, uh, all without losing any of the cohesion that that they've been able to put together on this thing. It's proven that the album operates as a complete artistic statement rather than just a playlist. Uh, what I mean by, like, when the you look at the album list, starting off with Book of Daniel, for example. This is the opening. It's more like a opening statement versus a freaking opening track than simply just opening track. There's a classic piano that's happening there. It provides this rich exposition of sound and motion, followed up by Starburst. That track is about 4 minutes and 59 seconds. So he took a time to let that thing breathe, and I love that when artists do that sort of thing. Starburst is the thing it's a pitched up yeah, like it's got pinched up synths that are happening on there, but what really stands out for me is the spoken word monologue by Angel Prost, who is from Frost Children, whose album Sister, remember I did that album, check the catalog. Frost Sister is an EDM electro pop um project that I reviewed and that I recommended you listen to. And so again, I'm seeing an artist like Angel co-signing Danny Brown. Now, Danny Brown don't need a co-sign. I'm just saying though, like it's dope to know that like an artist like that. I had no clue that they worked together. They might have worked together in the past. And here they go collaborating, two artists that individually I was able to identify and say, yo, I love what they're doing here. I love what they're doing with sound and the sound engineering and the way that they're putting the music together and the way that they're crafting these projects. And here they go work together. Because I also featured Danny Brown before on that Quaranta project, right? So been a big fan of Danny Brown, big fan of Frost Children, and here they go in a project together. It just frames, it helps frames the concept of what's going on in this project. It's done beautifully for a hip hop album to be so well fused with an EDM creators is dope. On here the the spoken word part goes, drunk with Stardust. When you were drunk with Stardust, when you were lasered into life in a beautifully precise manner, you clocked that which you'd never see, the minutia of the world's beauty. You notice how the guy across from you on the train put way too much aquifer on his lips. When you were at your most stable, you quickly exploded. When you're infected with its dust, you hear that which no one else hears. Peaking on Stardust, we chase silence out of our world till Gabriel blew his horn. You resign yourself to delinquency, quirk, quirkifying your life like a vegetarian with a carnivore spirit. You stabbed at the fauna of the world, hunted it, surveying life's riches. Poetry, bro. Another dope track is 1999 featuring Janaskus. And this one is very abrasive. It's industrial. It's got this chip tune influence sound. But Brown's performance here is intense and it fits the chaotic beat that he's rapping over. It just works perfectly. It's sometimes it's like hard to try to keep up with him rather than him keeping up with the beat. Lift You Up is gonna be your where's Lift You Up? Lift You Up is gonna be like the mid track. So there's total 14 tracks. It's track number six. This one is really uplifting. It's a dancey, straight up boots and cats house track. It's very reflective. Brown on here is talking about the post rehab mindset, and he's sincere on here, but he's not preachy. So you don't have to deal with necessarily all of that. Um, he is also putting this track. I think is also like this. I think is a festival ready track. It has this mid aughts, early aughts, clubby vibe. It's definitely a highlight on the whole project. All for you All for You is one of these great closers. This is the closing track. It's emotional. It feels like a benediction almost. He's talking about gratitude for the music, for what it's done for him, for how he's been able to change his life, and how he's grateful for the fans. It's like I could see it be like on a closing set, saying like, "Hey, thank you, audience, for being here, for buying these tickets, for putting me in a position of privilege, being on this mic and to have access that I have now and changing my world." And he's like really showing gratitude. So and it's a song for the fans. So I really appreciate that he puts one out there like that and to make it his closing track, saying talking about I do it all for you, the fans, the art. Like I have the art in me and I want to create the art, but it's the inspiration that I get from you, the fans, that that make me create what I'm creating now. That made me want to get my life together. That made me want to that make him want to be sober. And he's still able to put this music out even though he's sober. He's putting great stuff out when he wasn't. I love this stuff. That's why when I got on Danny Brown early, when he was, you know, probably influenced by a lot of the drugs. And like I love the stuff that he was making when he was influenced. Um, but I wasn't responsible I wasn't being a responsible listener, encouraging that, hey man, I need you to stay on the drugs because I love that stuff. If you're that sort of listener, then you're doing him a disfavor. But even when he got off of that stuff and I saw the evolution and I can still appreciate and you can still appreciate his his um his turn, his journey. Because his music isn't that far off. So he didn't really need it. I would say that. I would say that much. I mean, it sounded a little bit different, his early stuff, but he didn't really need it. He didn't really need it. On this track, All For You, he says, back when I was in the thick of it, used to dream of days like this. Didn't know I could make it here. Stage fright. Overcame those fears. Wrote raps till the ink ran dry. Wanted so bad that I just might cry. Had my favorite tape on repeat. Listened all night till I fell asleep. Posters on the wall. Man, I want it all. Used to practice my pose in the mirror. Thinking back to that'll make me tear up. Man, this rap shit saved my life. For me, it was do or die. Made me figure out who I really am. Re- re- Rewinding the tape might jam. So I had to let it play out. Music, my only way out. Headphones on till I blank out. It was my escape. What else could I say? I would recommend reading the whole song. It's so much. It's so much. 2 minutes and 26 seconds. I don't even think is there a hook on this thing? I don't even remember. Let me see if there was a hook on this. Look at the lyrics here. Oh, there's a hook, but man, it's some long verses, and that second verse is pretty introspective, very much an open book on that second verse. I don't have time to put it all in right now, but I recommend checking that out. Hopefully, that gets you into the project, and you can give him a spin, and we can get Danny Brown. This is another one of these artists that are not getting mainstream spins. They're not getting mainstream recognition, but those who know, fucks with it. And I got that. The only reason you come here is because of my recommendations, right? So definitely give that project a listen, uh, and leave a comment if you can on his YouTube channel. Tell him Challenge Day sent you, and hopefully we can get these numbers up. And shout out to Danny Brown and his work, the work he's put in. We see you, you know what I mean, and we love your journey, and we're here for the next one. Can't wait to hear it. He's mastered the art of control chaos. Really, when you think about start to finish on his album journey, refining his unique eccentric style into this focused and enjoyable project. And another one, just like another, like I would say he's got like four classics at least, right? Four classics. Let me see. Okay, now I'm gonna be on a tangent here. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Um, Definitely. Let's see. One, two. Ooh, that one was good too. Old was good too. Yeah, I say four, five, possible five, right? Four or five, possible five. This album celebrates being different. It's He's having fun on this, and in retelling how he survived, and how he's still surviving life's chaos. It's glamorous with its energy. It bursts through the seams on every track, and I definitely think you should give it a spin. All right, settle in. Grab your favorite craft coffee or that evening tea. Personally, I like a hottie toddy myself, with a splash of. I used to do what was that? I used to do like Grand Marnier, but I've the Fireball in your tea, that cinnamon, lovely. Tonight we are diving into a project that feels like a warm, soulful embrace. We're talking about the stunning collaborative album called Pages from the powerful duo of actor, poet Omari Hardwick and the legendary soul singer Anthony Hamilton. Omari on this joint, best known for his role as Ghost on the TV show Power. He's always been a poet at heart, with an artistic fire that burns as fiercely as his screen presence, right? Paired with Anthony Hamilton, neo soul legend. Uh, that grit mixed with this honey soaked voice that is been the cornerstone of modern soul for over a decade, um, is coming together to give us this unexpected but instant classic um project. Once you hear it, you just know it. You didn't see it on paper, you didn't think it made sense, but once you hear it, it's like, oh yeah, this should have been happened. The album has received, by the way, a nomination, Grammy nom, for best spoken word poetry album. That's how I came across it. I saw the list and I listened to all the albums on there, and there's some good ones. There's some really good ones on there, and having listened to all the different projects on there, this one really stood out to me. I don't know necessarily if it's gonna be the winner. I don't know what the Grammy judges are looking for when they judge. Like I've come to terms with what they look for in hip hop, although it's going to be a little bit different now that they have some different rules, which is why we have some interesting nominations for the different categories now. But the general rules of voting are a little bit different. So um it's a little bit more authentic and a little bit more true to the art that they're judging, the people that are in the different categories. So I don't know exactly how they judge best spoken word, but this one really stood out to me. I don't know if it's gonna win. I don't know if I would put my yeah, I wouldn't put my money on it because I don't exactly know how, like, the parameters of how they judge spoken word projects, but this one is some good stuff. Pages is raw. It's intimate. These conversations that Hardwick is having, it feels like um, that it's emotionally charged. It feels like it's cohesive. It feels like Hamilton is the great a great pairing for this. Again, this isn't nominated for best soul album or R&B or progressive R&B or anything like that. This is for spoken word. So mostly Hardwick does the heavy lifting when it comes to that. The production on Pages stands out. Um, because it's masterful use of space and restraint. If you're going to be spoken word, we need to hear the poetry. The producers allow tracks to breathe, pulling back on these sparse moments where only Omari's crackling voice or Anthony's raw ad libs remains. Warm bass lines. There's this seamless integration of the spoken word and song, which elevates the whole listening experience through effortless transitions. Amara's poetry builds narrative scenes that melt naturally into Anthony's choruses, transforming thoughts into feelings without it feeling like, there's a jarring shift that's happening. It transforms these thoughts into feelings. This fluid approach combined with intimate production choices gives Pages a cohesive sound that both um, that both comes across as contemporary but classic nonetheless. This is a classic album, and you know Anthony Hamilton could easily put this as part of his like catalog, and it wouldn't miss a beat. The structure of the album is it talks is like these recurring pages. So the first track is called entry page, and there's page one, page two, um, and and the motif carries throughout, and even in the lyrics, in the words or the prose, I guess that that Omari is spitting on this, you know, stays on brand, stays on theme. It makes it less of about individual radio style singles, and more about chapters in a cohesive story. Page one, is actually the second track on this thing. The entry page is the first one, entry page. So it's kind of like an introduction. But page one is the first full track. And this one is about 4 minutes and 37 seconds long. So you get a bit of chance to breathe. You get a chance like everything is over. Everything is generally Everything is generally over 3 minutes. You'd have a couple interludes and a couple little parts in there that are a little bit shorter because of where they're placed in the project. For example, the outro final page, but everything gets a chance to breathe. Everything gets explored on this, right? This song, page one, is Hardwick reflecting on the beginnings and origins of things, the opening of a personal or emotional chapter, while Hamilton's soulful voice underscores the emotion, giving the music weight to the poetry that is sort of like medicine with the candy sort of thing, right? If you're not used to listening to a spoken word project, you got some music to kind of like lull you into submission. And you should submit for this thing, right? You got to. It can be a little weird because it's not rap. It's not rap. I know that because it rhymes and because it's got the particular cadence that sometimes it feels like there's some stuff on here where I feel like Amari really tiptoes on the line where it's like, it sounds like you're trying to rap. It sounds like you rapping. Get over like but then like he doesn't fully cross the threshold, and so you can forgive him for that, and you can like go on into but like Anthony kind of like lulls you into um a comfortable space because you're used to hearing his voice and doing what he does, that you can then accept Amari when he goes in and he spits his lines. The first page, it feels like a moment that you open up a journal, right? You open up the journal, it sets the tone, it gives you context, and it's the emotional stakes and all of that of what's to come and what's to follow after that. Why the page bird stings is the 12th track on this 18 track project. It deals with pain, deals with the difficulties associated with putting one's experiences into words. Why the Page Bird Sings focuses on healing, uplifting, and transformative narrative. This this track, think about it. Like when you, I've written before where you write and you let it spill all out, and you know what I'm talking about when it's like there's tears on the page, right? And you go back and read it, and the page is a little bit warped, and you're like, man, I was in a particular space in that thing, and like it stings when you read it back. Sometimes you grow from that, right? Later on, and then you look back and like, man, that past version of myself was going through it, right? And so this is that kind of track. Why the Page Bird Stings. Definitely, if you're gonna listen to anything on this, that's gotta be one of the ones you check out. Within this album's continuous narrative, this track definitely marks a shift from pain and struggle um, towards a hopeful joy found in self-reflection and then like manifesting growth, not just hoping for it, not just working through it, but like manifesting it and like demanding that it happens. A main takeaway after experiencing this joint is this is more than an album. It's vulnerable, it's soulful, it's an experience that redefines masculinity in a way that can be healthy. It can be reflective and deeply emotional. Just because it's emotional doesn't mean it's not rational. You can Emotion can have a rational basis. Being aware of that is not a flaw. It's not a shortcoming. Being emotionally intelligent is a virtue. And that's what they're speaking to on this project. It invites listeners to turn the page on their own lives and examine the stories with written their own stories. It creates an introspective and warm atmosphere, perfect for late night contemplation. Uh, you're by yourself. It demands your full attention. If you're gonna let this be the background music to your own reflection, a quiet evening by yourself, uh, not necessarily a group listen sort of thing. Let Omari's words sink in and let Anthony's voice wash over you from start to finish, allowing you to embrace that space. I would say it's like therapy. It's a therapeutic journey. It's a flawless collaboration that deserves um, your you're listening intentionally and with care. I hope the Grammys give it its fair shake. Uh, it could potentially win Best Spoken Word Project. I would not be surprised.